Have you ever met someone who forgives almost everything? Someone who gets lied to, betrayed, or deeply hurt, yet somehow says, it's okay, and welcomes that person back into their life? At first, this kind of forgiveness looks like incredible kindness. It seems mature, compassionate, even admirable. But psychology suggests that forgiving too easily isn't always a sign of emotional strength. Sometimes it's a sign of something much deeper happening beneath the surface. The surprising truth is that not everyone forgives because they have healed. Some people forgive because they are afraid of what might happen if they don't. Today, we're going to explore the hidden psychology behind people who forgive too easily. And by the end of this video, you may see forgiveness in a completely different way. One of the biggest reasons people forgive too quickly is a deep fear of losing relationships. For some individuals, keeping peace feels more important than protecting themselves. Their brain has learned that conflict could lead to rejection, abandonment, or loneliness. Instead of asking, did this person deserve another chance? Their mind asks, what if they leave forever? Psychologists call this an abandonment fear. When the possibility of losing someone feels unbearable, people often ignore red flags, excuse harmful behavior, and forgive long before trust has actually been rebuilt. Another hidden reason is low self-worth. If someone secretly believes they don't deserve better treatment, they begin accepting behavior that others would never tolerate. Their internal voice quietly whispers, maybe I'm expecting too much, or nobody's perfect. Over time, this belief lowers their standards without them even realizing it. The problem isn't that they love others too much, it's that they don't value themselves enough to expect healthy treatment in return. Childhood experiences can also shape this pattern. Imagine growing up in a home where love depended on keeping everyone happy. Maybe expressing anger led to punishment. Maybe saying no caused guilt. Or maybe apologizing, even when you weren't wrong, became the safest way to avoid conflict. As adults, those survival strategies don't simply disappear. The brain remembers what once kept it emotionally safe, even if those behaviors now attract unhealthy relationships. Forgiveness becomes automatic because the nervous system has learned that peace is safer than confrontation. There's another fascinating psychological pattern called empathy overload. Highly empathetic people naturally try to understand why others hurt them. Instead of focusing on their own pain, they immediately begin explaining the other person's behavior. They're stressed. They had a difficult childhood. They didn't really mean it. While empathy is a beautiful quality, it becomes dangerous when understanding someone replaces holding them accountable. Understanding why someone behaves badly does not erase the consequences of their actions. Another reason people forgive too easily is emotional dependency. Sometimes the relationship itself becomes the source of emotional security. Even when it's unhealthy, the brain fears losing the connection more than enduring the pain. This creates a cycle. Someone hurts them. They apologize. Forgiveness comes quickly. Things improve for a while. Then the same behavior happens again. Over time, the brain becomes trapped in a repeating emotional loop, confusing temporary relief with genuine healing. Psychologists often describe this as a reinforcement cycle. Occasional kindness after repeated hurt can make unhealthy relationships surprisingly difficult to leave. People who forgive too easily also tend to avoid uncomfortable emotions. Holding someone accountable often requires difficult conversations, setting boundaries, or even walking away. Those actions can trigger anxiety, guilt, and emotional discomfort. So the brain searches for the fastest escape. Forgiveness becomes a shortcut, not because the pain is gone, but because avoiding conflict feels easier than facing it. But buried emotions don't disappear. They often return later as stress, resentment, emotional exhaustion, or even anxiety. Here's something many people misunderstand. Forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. Psychologically, forgiveness is an internal decision to let go of hatred and stop carrying emotional poison. Trust, however, is something that must be rebuilt through consistent actions over time. Many people accidentally reconnect these two ideas. They forgive, then immediately trust again, then get hurt again. Healthy forgiveness doesn't erase wisdom. It allows compassion while still remembering the lessons the experience taught you. In fact, emotionally healthy people often forgive without removing their boundaries. They can wish someone well while choosing not to give them unlimited access to their life. That's not bitterness, that's emotional intelligence. Perhaps the most important lesson is this: forgiving someone should never require abandoning yourself. Real forgiveness should bring peace, not permission for repeated harm. It should free your mind, not trap you in the same painful cycle over and over again. The healthiest relationships don't require endless forgiveness because they are built on respect, accountability, honesty, and mutual effort. When someone truly values you, they don't expect unlimited second chances. They work to avoid repeating the same mistakes. So if you recognize yourself as someone who forgives too easily, don't see it as weakness. Your kindness is not the problem. Your compassion is not the problem. The real challenge is learning that you can be both kind and protective. You can forgive while still saying no. You can understand someone's pain without accepting their behavior. And you can care deeply about others without sacrificing your own emotional well-being. Because the strongest people aren't those who never forgive. They're the ones who know exactly where forgiveness ends and self-respect begins. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more fascinating insights into human behavior and psychology, make sure to subscribe and join us for the next journey into the hidden workings of the human mind.